when you get ready to retire, how much money can you take out of your retirement accounts each year for income that you need and not run out of money before you run out of life? Well, that's the big question. That's the most important question you can answer for your retirement. And I'm going to show you what the experts say. Okay, let's look at Morningstar, a very highly respected organization, does all kinds of research that we use in the investment community and advisory community and all that. And we see here that the Morningstar 2025 retirement income research suggests that 3.9% is the highest safe starting withdrawal rate for retirees seeking a consistent level of inflation-adjusted spending from year to year, assuming a 90% probability of having funds remaining at the end of an assumed 30-year period. So you've got a 30-year retirement, and if you have a portfolio of $1 million, you draw $39,000 a year out of that portfolio, and if you do, then you have a 90% chance that you're not going to be broke by the end of the 30 years. Well, how about 100% probability you're not going to be broke? And what happens if you live beyond 30 years? What are you going to do for money? That'd be some important questions to answer, right? But folks, it's really just a guess. And if we go down further, it says our base case safe withdrawal rate is up slightly from the starting safe withdrawal percentage of 3.7 we had in last year's report. So last year, it'd be 2024, you could draw at 3.7%. And in 2021, it's 3.3% you could draw out. In 2022, it's 3.8. And in 2023, it's 4%. That's the 4% rule that goes back to the 90s. So you can see, folks, that every year it changes. Well, what happens if this year is 3.9%, but next year they say it's 3.7%, but you started at 3.9%? It doesn't make sense. So now the new people retiring a year later at 3.7%, I'm drawing 3.9%. Am I going to run out of money sooner than 30 years now? You see, folks, it just doesn't make sense. It's all guesswork. Like, I'm not going to go over this entire article because it takes a deep, deep dive into the weeds on how they come up with this stuff. It's interesting but boring at the same time. But ultimately, it means we have no clue. Every year it's going to change. We'll run a whole different analysis every year, and then we'll tell you what you can draw out if those of you who are starting retirement. That makes absolutely no sense. But guess what they're not talking about in here, in this part? But I pulled up another article, and we're talking about how about taxes and fees. Those financial advisors take a good chunk of your money out every year in fees that they need in their pocket to make a living. So before we look at that, it says here in this next article that you could go up to 6% a year instead of 3.7. That's a huge jump. And it relies on the right level of flexibility in a retiree spending system will depend on the individual's tolerance for spending changes, including the extent to which final fixed expenses are covered by non-portfolio income source. In other words, yeah, you can draw out more than the 3.9%, but when the market drops, it tanks, which happens 2 to 3 times every 10 years, and it takes 2 to 3 years to recover. And while it's recovering, you're coming out of the hole, you're drawing income, the fees are coming out. So what happens is, yeah, you can start out drawing more, but if the market tanks, you need to cut your payback. You need to cut way back so you don't run out of money. What a way to retire. Every year, you don't know how much you're going to take out every year. So you don't have an income you can rely on. That again makes no sense. So now I'm in this report here. Let me, as you can see, it says the State of Retirement Income 2025. And we look at this. Note, as a standard with retirement income research, this approach considers only whether a portfolio can fund its scheduled withdrawals, not its final value. If at least a penny remains in the portfolio at the end of year 30, then the trial is considered successful. There you go. So look, if you take your 3.9% if you're retiring in 2026, and at the end of 30 years you have 1 penny left, it's a success. Oh my goodness. This is how they think out there in the investment world, in the securities world. This is how they're thinking. How would you like to be in your last year of retirement and saying, well, honey, at the end of the year, we're going to have 1 penny left in our accounts. We had a successful retirement. We're still alive and we're broke. That's how ridiculous it is. And it goes on in the next paragraph. Taxes and fees will reduce actual withdrawals. Our research factors in inflation, but it doesn't incorporate the impact of expenses or taxes, both of which can further curtail starting safe withdrawal rates. In other words, 3.9% if you don't consider the fees that your advisor is charging and taxes. Now, if you want to consider those two factors, then do you think they're pretty significant? Taxes and fees? When you need to back off of that 3.9%. This is absolutely ludicrous, folks. That this is the conventional wisdom. So when you get ready to retire and you ask your financial advisor, well, how much can I draw? 4%. That's the rule. 4%, give yourself a pay raise. You'll be good. No, you won't be good. Because that doesn't even factor taxes and his fees. According to Morningstar, which is about the top research company around when it comes to this kind of stuff. I talk about this a lot. But what I want people to realize is that I don't make this up. This is just not my personal opinion. These are the experts telling you something that your financial advisor, your typical financial advisor, is not going to share with you because you would be scared to death. There's only one way, folks. One way only that you can retire and have a guaranteed income stream that's not going to be affected by anything that happens out there in the market. It's guaranteed. You'll never run out of money. You can live to 115. You're going to continue to get a paycheck. You and your spouse, one of you dies, the other one of you is going to continue to get that income. And the only way you can do that is the way it's been done for 2,000 years since the Roman days, and that's with an annuity, a fixed or fixed index annuity with an income rider is the only way to do it, folks. Or you can keep your fingers crossed, roll the dice, and hope you don't run out of money while you're a financial advisor saying, don't worry about it, we got it covered, we'll manage your money, everything's going to be cool. I don't think so. I'll leave you with this last chart. Here we go. This is what we call the equity weighting. This is how much of your money is in stocks and how much is in bonds. So if I come down here, this is 50. 50% is in equities or stocks, and the 50% is bonds. And they say bonds are safe. Bonds are not safe. No way are they safe. So we go here at 50, and these are the number of years of retirement. Hey, if you only want 10 years of retirement, you can take out 9.5% of your money. $1 million account, take $95,000 out, and that'll last you for 10 years. And then we come over here to the 30-year mark. It's 3.9%, and you have a good probability of reaching 30. But if you want to, what happens if you want to live 35 years? Well, you got to knock it down to 3.5. And remember, that does not include taxes and fees. And the probability of taxes going up in the future is high. So if you retire at 3.9% and 10 years later, the tax bracket's gone up to 50% from the 37 it's now, you're toast. You'll burn through your money. Well, you can put 80% in the risky stuff. And if you want to last 30 years, you're going to have to cut down to 3.6% withdrawal rate. Again, no taxes or fees included. Folks, you need to contact me, and if you're ready to retire, or within, say, even 5 to 10 years, and set it up right now, an income plan, so that you can maximize the amount of money you take out of your portfolio, and it's going to last for life, guaranteed. And by the way, using fixed index annuities, you can forget about the 4% rule, because you'll be able to take out 5, 6, 7% out of your portfolio year in and year out like clockwork, guaranteed. This is Victor Cuevas, Victor for Advice. If you like this video, share it, like it, and I hope it's been helpful. God bless.